All right, guys. So this is an unboxing of Madison VR, the Cursed Edition, published by Perp Games, developed by Bloodius Games. This game is well renowned for being scientifically the most scary game ever. They must have done some tests and they measured how scared people got from playing various video games. And apparently this, according to science, is the scariest video game ever made. And that was said about it before it even had a VR version. So anybody who's played any VR, you know that VR is especially effective for horror games, for eliciting the emotion of fear. It's so compelling. I've told the story many times in my first few weeks playing Resident Evil 7, where I couldn't even play it in the house while I was by myself. For 2 weeks it took me. For that first couple of weeks I had to wait for my missus to be in the room with me to feel safe. But the point being, horror, it works so well in VR. Even though it's just a game, it's convincing enough that it gets all of those, it gets your adrenaline going and you really feel the presence and the threat. So I'm really psyched to play this. A lot of good things have been said about it. And this is the Cursed Edition. So let's do an unsealing, a sale unboxing. I've already taken it out of the box. Perp Game send their games in very nice packaging. I almost feel like it's too much. They send it in a nice box, but inside they have like blue crepe paper around the game, and then they often also have a little silk bow around it as well. I'm like, guys, these are overheads you don't need. It's nice, I appreciate it, it looks pretty, but how much is that costing you out of your profits? Don't take them out. Take them out, put the money towards more publishing, more developing, whatever. We don't need that extra packaging, Perp. Come on. As nice as it is. Yeah, so Madison, the Cursed Edition, is the front. Yep, and the back. You can see these pictures on here. Oh, we'll get to that, actually. We'll get to that when we go in here. Right, so let's unseal. Bit of ASMR for you there. Nice crinkles. Right, so the main picture on the box here is of a camera. So that is the main sort of game mechanic apparently in the game, is that you are going around this sort of quite intimidating, scary environment, and the only thing you've got to use to interact with things in the environment that you carry with you initially is a camera. And this comes in very handy a lot of the time because there's a lot of dark areas, so you need to use the camera's flash to illuminate areas, and apparently it works really well in VR. Again, this game was not made originally for VR, but they've managed to implement it in such a way that apparently it just feels really natural and really smooth function of using the camera there to find your way around and find clues and secrets and things like this. So the Cursed Edition is supposed to have a few extra bits and pieces in there. Feels quite light, but let's find out. Let's see what's in here. So, right, very first thing on the top here is this fetching picture with a nice sort of weathered look to it. And this woman is actually the grandmother of, is it the lead developer? I think it's the lead developer. This game, I don't know how big the team was. I know it's quite a small team. But yeah, this is the grandmother. This lady posed as this character for the purpose of in-game, in-universe things. So here we go. Yeah, Elizabeth Maxwell, June 1972. And doing a nice backwards eye roll there. Very nice. But yeah, this lady's since passed away in real life. The man, this lady who played Elizabeth Maxwell. But what a tribute to your grandmother to put her in a horror video game that you're making, and so that's pretty cool. That's that. What else have we got here? Certificate of Cremation by the Highlands Cemetery. This certifies that the remains of Elizabeth Maxwell, aged 34, date of death December 17th, 1972, was cremated at the Highlands Cemetery, or crematory, on December 19th. And these are the, what's that, incinerate remains of said body. Requested, blah, 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 blah. So, certificate of cremation there for Elizabeth. What else have we got here? Oh, it's a nice booklet. Luca. That doesn't mean anything to me yet. I've not played the game. Mum's arm. Fetching. Sister's leg. Dad's head. The hanged son. They're all scribbled out there. Okay. Strange things in this booklet. So there you go. To download your experience and experience your bonus content, please visit the website. There's a password there, but I'm sure that doesn't matter. It's not specific to my copy. So that is Madison VR Cursed Edition. Very, very excited to play this, although I'm kind of tempted to save it for a little while, because there is also a physical version of Overdark coming out as well. And Overdark isn't scary, apparently, but it's quite sort of atmospheric. Spooky sort of sort of atmosphere, but not scary, not jump scares, not literally like terrifying in the way that Madison apparently is. So I'm kind of feeling like I want to play Overdark first, so as to not diminish its atmosphere by having played something that is a lot more sort of extreme in that direction. So yeah, but the Overdark physical edition isn't coming out until, is it next month? I think it's June sometime. It's not too far off. So I might not actually be playing this for a little while yet. So it's going to sit on the shelf for a bit, as are several other PSVR games, to be honest. For other reasons though. I bought a few games recently. I'm going to do a physical collection. Just opening my drawer now to have a look, because I also have Vertigo 2, which I've had for some time. It did get some patches. The performance is still not fantastic, and potentially since Unity is Unity? Yeah, has been upgraded so that you can now more easily implement dynamic foveated rendering. Hopefully some of these devs will go back in and just flip the switch, if it has become a lot easier to do that, and to get the best performance out of their games, so there may be a couple more patches coming with this game. We don't know yet. I've not heard that, but I'm kind of fingers crossed for it, because although it has had some post-launch patches, some people are saying there's still a little bit of awkwardness in some of the interactions. So maybe they'll be able to address that, and by the time I get around to it, this will be as good as it possibly can be. So yeah, but very, very excited to play this. It does run at 90 hertz. So very smooth frame rate, and it does use high resolution, high frame rate, lovely use of the OLED panels, lots of darks, very atmospheric. So it looks fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, that is Madison VR, and soon enough there will be a PSVR 2 physical collection, because it's grown quite a bit. I did do one video on the collection some months ago, But there's been a decent amount of physical releases for the PSVR 2. Obviously, not as many as I'd like. I'd prefer most games to be on disc. But with VR, there's a couple of major factors there that really sort of affect the likelihood of games coming out on disc. And that is the fact that a lot of VR games are shorter in length, sort of bite-sized games. Maybe it doesn't make sense to put, shorter experiences out on disc. I get that. Something more substantial really is suited to a physical version. That's how I feel anyway. And the other thing, of course, is that a lot of these games have been developed by much smaller teams. So they perhaps don't have the financial sort of clout or ability to really put out a disc version. But I wonder how much that's cannibalizing sales. I don't know the maths, the economics behind it. But I can only speak for myself. Maybe there's a lot of people out there that hold off on buying games, hoping that a disc version will come out. And then, quite a few times what's happened is no disc version comes, but a sale comes, and then I'll buy the game digitally in a sale, where I would have been quite happy to pay full price had it been on disc. Not just because I want to collect, but also because I'm happy to support a developer and pay the full price for games if I feel like I actually own it, I don't want to sound like some ancient stick in the mud, but you don't own your digital games. They are effectively rented and at the mercy of servers and licensing and other stuff, So, yeah, I'm happy to pay full price for games if they come out on disc. The majority of the time, games are coming out on VR that either you don't know at launch if they're going to get a disc. More often than not, they don't get one. There's a few games recently I bought that I would have loved to have had on disc, and I certainly would have paid full price for them, like Genotype, Legendary Tales. Gutted that didn't get a physical release, although I did buy that full price digitally. That was sort of an exception to my little sort of often enforced rule. Legendary Tales, I was happy to pay a full price because, well, there's a bit of a story behind that one with the developer really struggling over the finish line financially, and it's really sort of been difficult for them to make the money back, especially with the money launching on PSVR 2 and PC. Not the biggest VR markets. Hopefully they'll be able to recoup some more if they can manage to release a sort of pared down Quest version. I don't know how much of that game will be lost in translation if they have to sort of, reduce its performance or whatever. But hopefully they'll be able to get a Quest version out. I know they are thinking about it already. So yeah, but anyway, a few little tangents there in this video. Mainly, this was a Madison's VR Cursed Edition unsealing, unwrapping. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye bye.